everyone. This is Nina Collins at Revel. We're here for our weekly recording of our podcast, Raging Gracefully. And this week we are very, very fortunate to have as our special guest, Shelley Emling from AARP. Shelley is a longtime kind of publishing professional, magazine and books professional. She's written a number of books. She is currently the editor of The Girlfriend and is also AARP's executive editor. Specialized content is her title. So she oversees The Girlfriend, the Ethel, Sisters, and The Arrow. The Girlfriend is the newsletter aimed at Gen X women. Sisters is the e-newsletter that celebrates Black women. The Ethel is aimed at women over 60, and The Arrow is for Gen X men. I personally receive both The Girlfriend, actually I get all three, The Girlfriend and Sisters and The Ethel, and they're great newsletters. Previously, she's worked all over the place. For Cox Newspapers, she was a London-based correspondent covering Europe for about 10 years. She worked in Miami covering the Caribbean and Latin America, and she is the author, as I said, of 5 books. So we're very lucky to have Shelley here today. And we're mostly going to be talking about this new phase of your career at The Girlfriend and AARP, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Nina. I'm so happy to be here. That was a wonderful introduction. You just covered everything.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah. So I guess my first question would be to tell our listeners, like a lot of people, AARP is like a running joke, right? It's like when you get your AARP card in the mail and, what do you do with AARP and is it useful? And I think as we get older, most of us realize there are many ways it is really useful for discounts and information. I now receive I'm on the e-list and I get the physical, there's like a newspaper-ish magazine that I receive. But why did AARP decide to start The Girlfriend? What's the genesis?
The Girlfriend will be 5 years old this July. So nearly 5 years ago, the AARP decided to launch The Girlfriend, a free weekly e-newsletter aimed at Gen X women. So mostly women, I would say in their 40s. And they did so because, as you just said, when you turn 50 and you get that AARP card in the mail, as I'm in my 50s, so you get it in the mail and you're like, oh my God, I cannot believe AARP
has hit this milestone.
And you throw it in the trash and you're just like, never want to hear from AARP again. So they were AARP is trying to like subtly introduce women to AARP. And through The Girlfriend, and that's what we've done actually. So in the early days, we launched nearly 5 years ago. We never even mentioned that The Girlfriend was from AARP when we first launched.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, people didn't even know. It was like The Girlfriend. It's a free,
It was kind of stealth. It was like.
Yeah. And then now in the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years, we have actually been sort of, trying to talk about AARP more, the discounts that we offer, and the benefits of joining AARP. But in general, like I said, initially The Girlfriend was launched as a way to like kind of introduce AARP into people's lives without them really sort of knowing about it.
And then in a subtle way. So it was essentially, it sounds like a smart kind of marketing move to get women a little younger.
Yes.
Know about what they're thinking, talk to them about what their concerns are, and then kind of have them in your sphere.
Right. And then it ballooned into a really big community. We did not realize, I don't think, how big the Girlfriend community would become. Yeah. And for anybody out there, I mean, go to The Girlfriend you just Google it. It's the first one that comes up. We have nearly 500,000 subscribers now. And a year after The Girlfriend launched, we launched the Sisters, as you mentioned, for Black women. And then the year after that, we launched the Ethel for women over 60. So we have these different free, weekly newsletters for these different niche audiences. And we're trying to showcase AARP, but not only that, I mean, we're really trying to like do something and we're trying to bring women together. And that's what I've learned. Yeah. Since launching.
I think what's really interesting about it is, I mean, I often tell the story that when I started What Would Virginia Woolf Do in 2015, right, I was just trying to address my own needs. As a 46-year-old woman, I was starting to go through perimenopause and I wanted to talk to other women about it. And it was around that time that The Girlfriend started, somewhere around 2015, 2016. And I do think there was something in the zeitgeist, because again, if I look back to that period, there were very few people talking directly to this demographic. And now there's a whole world of telemed and communities and places like Revel. Like this our demographic and the subject of kind of menopause and women, older women, is having a bit of a moment, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I would say that for sure. I mean, especially since the pandemic started. I mean, what I've learned since launching The Girlfriend nearly 5 years ago is that Gen X women are very stressed out. And we already kind of knew that because they're caring for older parents, they're caring for kids. But they're also, the one thing I did not know is that they're a pretty lonely bunch. And I think I've told you this before, but our two top articles in 2021 were, number one was, don't have any close friends, you're not alone. And that was our number one article from 2021. It clicked on article.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
And number two was how to survive a sexless marriage, as I think I've told you. So I started figuring out that this is a generation that we all seem really happy and bubbly and everything's hunky-dory, but in reality, I don't think it's that way. I think that a lot of people are lonely. They've had friends that have moved away, died in some cases. They've gotten divorced. Their husbands have moved on, or whatever.
Gone, gay, died, all sorts of.
Their kids have left for college, and they're really, really lonely. And so they're trying to figure out, how do you make friends at this age, like mostly in your 50s, when you've had all these things happen to you? That's number one. And then number two, I realize a lot of women are in marriages where they're not having sex.
Yeah.
And that's been really shocking to me. So a sexless marriage, as you know, is defined as, I think, not having sex in a year in your marriage. And many women, I can't even, I wish I could share my inbox, but I can't. But I'm bombarded with emails from women saying, I haven't had sex with my husband in 3 years, 5 years.
No, it was absolutely the number one search term that led people to the Wolfer as well, was sexless marriage. So it's a huge issue.
Yeah. And I think that really stunned me. I mean, I do know from kind of my anecdotal, my friends and stuff, that, everybody goes through issues and, dry spells, but I was really stunned that people are emailing me saying, I haven't had sex in 5 years and I'm still married. And what do I do now? So this is a topic that really resonates with the Gen X, audience. And,
so you're clearly having sex. This is good news. You're positioned behind your Guatemalan wedding shirts and you've been married for 30 years. So some people
are 30 years. And I wanted to say, so we did a study of the things that women over 40 Google the most. Okay. And I just had to share a couple things.
I'm dying to know. Tell me.
So these are the things that women over 40 Google most. Why are my periods so irregular? Okay. Number one, early symptoms of bone density loss. Okay. Does Botox hurt? Causes of women's hair loss. Jennifer Aniston's beauty routine.
Oh my God, I love this. This is a great list.
5 more. Help for hot flashes, which I could use. Best CBD oils. Is brain fog real? Can I run with knee pain? And the last one, Viagra, just Viagra.
That is a great list. That's a piece of content in and of itself. I want you to email me that list. I love it.
I will. So that's what women over 40 are Googling.
That's what we're thinking about. Jennifer Aniston's fitness routine, and does Botox hurt? I mean, I could answer all those questions if one wanted. Except maybe, can you run with knee pain? I'm not sure, and I don't run. Yeah. All right, so you created The Girlfriend. You have this newsletter called The Girlfriend for women over 40, newsletter Ethel, women over 60. I actually love Ethel, which is consistent with my lifelong love of women older than I am. So I'm 52, and now I'm focused on the Ethel. And Sisters Black Women. And then you have this Facebook group, which is for all of the newsletters or just for The Girlfriend?
No, so we have a Facebook page for The Girlfriend. We have a Facebook page for the Ethel. And then we have the Girlfriend Book Club, which I'm most proud of, which has 41,000 members. So everybody Google Girlfriend Book Club, because it's been my baby and I'm so...
You tell us more about how that works then. I want to hear. So
we launched this about 2.5 years ago, and there's now 41,000 members in this closed Facebook group. And we do book giveaways with authors every week. We do 2 or 3. So everybody wins free books. So that's great. But then every month also I bring on whatever our monthly book club pick is, we bring the author on for a live interview. So last night, for example, I had the author of Yellow Wife on. I don't know if you've read
I don't
Yellow
know
Wife.
no.
It's an amazing book. Last month it was The Maid was last month with Rita Prose. We had Diane Chamberlain on the month before with Last House on the Street book. Next month our book is The Guncle. The author is joining. Anyway, every month we've had everybody from Leanne Moriarty, James Patterson to Kristen Hanna have joined us, and it's been so much fun to like interview these amazing authors for the Girlfriend Book Club.
That's so great. And I assume you choose the book based on some sort of voting system. The community chooses the book.
Yeah, I can't, according to our lawyers, choose it myself. So like today, so we had our author talk last night. So today I was asking people to recommend a book for August already. Okay. So I give them 24 hours to post a recommendation for August. And then tomorrow morning, I'll take the 5 most popular recommendations, put them in a poll, and give people another 24 hours to vote.
Oh.
And that'll choose our August book. So it's very democratic. It's very, I have nothing to do with it.
It's interesting that it's illegal for you guys for you to choose it yourself. I have to say at Revel, I run the Revel book club and I choose it myself. I'll have to investigate if that's illegal.
I can't be seen as promoting any one book. So it really has to come from the 41,000 members. And I have to say every month, they just amaze me because every book I'm like, wow, I would have never chosen this, but this is amazing. So
does it ever feel like a chore reading the book? Is it hard? Do you ever find yourself
No,
reading
it never does. I have often thought, how can I read these books every month? But I mean, in January was my favorite book. This is my favorite book of the past couple of years. The World Played Chess. By Robert.
Oh, I've heard great things about that book. I've not read it, but I've heard it's great. The World Played Chess.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite book of the last 5 years, and I keep going on about it. People think I'm insane, but it was chosen by the book club. I read it and I was like, oh my God, this is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. He came on with us in January. All the author talks are on in a post that you can find it or featured under the Girlfriend Book Club. But we had Leanne Moriarty on in December, who wrote Apples Never Fall. Have you read that one?
Yeah, no, she's great. Absolutely. I mean, I read her whenever I go on a long airplane trip, basically. She's great.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I mean, these authors, it's like even the one last night, I mean, Yellow Wife is such a huge hit. And they're all so down to earth, and I just love talking to them. It's amazing.
That's wonderful. And it's men and women, obviously. There's no kind of feminist agenda, particularly with this book.
No. There's no feminist agenda. Yeah, no, it could be men or women. Yeah.
All right. All right. So what is the most surprising thing you've learned from, probably I would imagine, in the Facebook group where women are having presumably some intimate conversations, like in terms of you've overseen this whole world for 5 years, you're kind of like I am, like deep in the middle-aged woman mindset. Have there been any big surprises?
I think that, like I said before, the biggest surprise is how lonely people are, and how I posted something yesterday, a question: what's hardest for you to say? I'm sorry, I love you, I need help. Okay. And overwhelmingly, everybody said the hardest thing for them to say is, I need help.
I need help. That would be my
and that was on the Girlfriend Facebook page. And I realized that people, they're just craving, companionship. They're craving connections with other women. They post, I mean, within the Facebook group, the book club, which is a closed group, they are all reaching out to each other because of the pandemic. We haven't had any, in-person events or anything, but they're all reaching out to each other saying, hey, I live in Seattle. Can you meet me in the park? And talk about books. Can anybody in Chicago here? They're all trying to figure out how to meet people. Yeah. And I've been in some sort of bubble here. I've got my 3 kids, and I don't know. I didn't realize how really lonely a lot of these Gen X women are, and how, especially old, and even older than that. I mean, in the Ethel, the boomers, these women are super lonely. People don't know how to make friends. They don't know how to make connections with other women. And they, not only do they post on Facebook, but they email me personally, which has been really rewarding, but also sort of distressing in a way. Yeah. Because they're all saying, what can I do? I don't know how to meet people. And the other thing is that that's come through since the pandemic is people are drinking a lot. And I mean, I knew that anecdotally, but it's coming through in the emails and the essays that I'm getting in. It's like, I used to drink a glass of wine a night. Now I'm drinking a bottle, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It's like during the pandemic, I went from, is it normal to drink a bottle or a bottle and a half of wine a night, and it's like, wow. I mean, that hit me. Because,
Yeah.
because I'm like, wow. I mean, people have really, I mean, my kids are older, so I haven't had to deal with the young kid, remote learning situation. So hats off to everybody who's done that. I don't know how you're doing it.
I felt that way too during COVID. I thought, thank God I don't have small kids at home.
Oh my God. I mean, my kids are older, but people are really suffering. I mean,
Well, and there was, there have been these studies. There was that article in the Wall Street Journal lately about how many women our age are on antidepressants, right? I was just on this Today Show segment with Maria Shriver talking about this, like women our age are on antidepressants in huge numbers. Yeah. So what is your solution to finding friends? What do you tell people to do? I mean, obviously at Revel, that's what we're trying to do also, right? We're all in the same boat of seeing women.
Yeah, I would probably guide them to your website because
that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I don't really know because, I can say, I don't know.
You don't feel lonely in your life. I feel
really fortunate because I've managed to keep friends from when my kids were little, and I've managed to, keep that network. But I don't know. And I really feel sorry for the women that write me and they say they don't have kids. So they never had those mommy,
Yeah, those mommy connections
that kind of stay with you. And they're like, what do I do? And I'm like, so we're hosting for the first time. So we've been virtual since March of 2020, like everybody else at AARP, we have too. But at the last week of June, we're actually launching 3 in-person book swaps for the book club in 3 cities, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Houston. And it's a really great opportunity for women to come to an event where they don't have to bring somebody, they can come by themselves because it's a book swap. So you can
bring a book.
It's not like you can walk in with 1 book, you take 1 book. Walk in with 3 books, you take 3 books. So it's 3 nights of events where I hope that people can actually make connections with each other while also, swapping books. But we're hoping to, if this is successful, I hope that we can do more of these over the next several months because I'm really, and the other thing I'm doing is I'm launching a closed Facebook group in mid-June for like women 60 and older. I know that's older than your audience, but
No, that's our audience too. So, our audience is kind of women 40 and up, but I'd say we have equal amounts of women in their 50s and in their 60s, slightly smaller amount in their 70s, but a lot in their 70s, not many in their 80s, although we welcome them, 80s, 90s, beyond. So anyway, you're opening a closed Facebook group it's a great need.
Because the Ethel audience, which is women over 60, that Facebook page, the engagement on that Facebook page, it's just surpassed the girlfriends, sisters, all our other Facebook pages. Because I realized women over 60, they're on Facebook. A lot of them are really lonely. And they want to talk to each other. So when you have a closed Facebook group, obviously they can post their own posts. They can say, hey, how do you make friends? What's the best neck cream, et cetera, et cetera. They're not just responding to my posts, they're posting their own posts. Yeah. So there's a real need for this. And I can't wait to launch this in the middle of June because these guys are clamoring for it.
Yeah, because you're doing really good work. It's because it's really important for us to be helping women find each other. I'm 100% behind you. I think it's amazing. And for our listeners, we're hoping to participate in these book swaps with AARP. We're very excited and we will promote the dates and the locations. And I love the idea. Like I went to a book swap recently in Laguna Beach, a Revel event, and it was great because like you'll have a book and people will start talking over a book. They'll be like, oh, I read that and I read that. It's a real way to make a connection, actually. I think it's a lovely kind of organic way for women to talk and connect and bring books and share them. So that's really great.
So what's your favorite book of the last year?
Gosh, my favorite book of the last year. I'm looking at all these books on my
I'm
not going to remember my favorite book because I read so many, but one book that I really loved and was very moved by was this Rebecca Walker book, Women Talk Money. And I'm doing an event with her in a couple of weeks. She's Alice Walker's daughter, and it's a collection of essays about women and money. It's actually a little depressing, honestly, because there's a lot of talk about how often women are kind of in denial about the financial facts and how real the fear of poverty for older women can be. So I have to say this book isn't as fun as I expected it to be, but I think it's really important. I'm reading right now a really quite fun book called City of Likes by a woman named Jenny Molan. She's a big Instagram personality, and this is coming out, I don't know.
Okay.
This is really a fun book. This is a much easier book to read. And then my last one, my book club pick for next month is The Days of Aphrodite, which is a kind of literary, it's a little bit like Mrs. Dalloway, and it's about a Black woman and a white woman, and this will be exciting. So I love to read. I could spend all my days reading.
What's the City of Likes about?
The City of Likes is, I will give you a description. It's funny, actually. I'm halfway through it. It's a woman named Megan Chernoff is a talented but unemployed copywriter in an identity crisis after the birth of her second child. Seeking a fresh start, she and her family moved to New York City, where she meets a fabulous woman named Daphne Cole, who's a mom influencer. It's basically about social media and shallowness in today's society. And it's about a woman who kind of goes deep into that world and then realizes that she doesn't really know what real is anymore. It's puffy. In fact, my boyfriend picked it up and he was like, that book looks really stupid. And I was like, no, it's actually really quite fun. Thank you very much. So I read kind of all over the map, and I read a lot of nonfiction as well too.
I do too. Okay, that's good. I'm putting that on my list. So check it out.
Oh yeah, we should definitely share book notes more often. In fact, another one that I'm excited about is, the Jillian Medoff, because she lives in Montclair, where you live. We're going to do an event with her in August when we were bright and beautiful. I have not read this yet, but it looks great. So how old are you, Shelley? You're in your 50s, right? Do you share your
58? Yeah.
58. Nice. Okay, I'm going to be 53 in August. So I'm curious how you feel as a woman, how you feel about ageism in our society. And like you're very fortunate, I think, to have this cool job at AARP where you can kind of lean into your age, right? Do you do a lot of writing about ageism? Do you feel, I don't know, what's your opinion about it? Is it changing in our culture?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't think it's changing very much, unfortunately, but at AARP, I'm so fortunate because we write so much about ageism, but I have to say a lot of the essays I get in and that I've published are from women over 60 usually, that have talked about feeling invisible and feeling irrelevant. And, I had a piece come in, I think we published it already, come in saying that, this older woman, like 72 maybe, and she walked up to a counter at a department store and she could not get waited on, like all these like 20 somethings coming up to the counter. And she was just standing there like, I'm here, I'm still here, and it's sort of like a Grace and Frankie episode. But and she was just like, I just don't know what to do. And that really bothers me. But it's kind of bizarre because some women write and they say they like being invisible.
Yeah,
they can do whatever they want. They don't mind that nobody's looking at them. But then the other half is saying, I think this is atrocious. Like, I'm valuable. I'm valued. Why are you not paying attention to me? So I'm really I'm really torn on that subject because I don't really know the answer to it. In a lot of ways, I think it's gotten better because of all, just like Jane Fonda and all the, Helen Mirren and, all these great actresses that are older and they're shining and we're holding them up, Yeah.
And like, isn't the chairman of AARP a quite older woman?
No, the CEO is Joanne Jenkins, and I don't know her age, but I wouldn't say she was that.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Myrna. Is that her name? What is
my
her?
boss is Myrna Blythe, who's in her early 80s. Yeah.
She's very
and she was like the founder of Ladies Home Journal, and she's still working, and I love it because it's like, wow, as a woman in my 50s to have a boss in her 80s, and she's telling me, and when people ask her if she's going to retire, she's like, why would I retire? And we've done so many studies. This is the other thing AARP has done. We've done a lot of studies of people when they retire. This is unfortunate, but people are more likely to die, within a year or two after retiring. If they kept working, it's less likely. So
have you taken that to heart? Is your plan to just keep working?
I will keep working, and they're going to take me out in a casket. I just will never stop working. I just want
Really? Wow.
because
What
I
about,
love my job, and I really feel like there's so many women that have written me that say that when they retired, they felt so irrelevant, and they didn't know what to do with themselves. They felt like they didn't know what their purpose was. I don't want to, and I feel for them, and I don't think that's the way it should be. I really don't. But for me personally, I don't want to be like that.
yeah.
I'm going to keep working as long as I can,
Does your husband feel that way too? Is he also going to keep working?
Well, as a 55-year-old, yeah, I hope so. Yeah, mostly it's mostly me that wants to work more than him, probably.
Yeah, because my boyfriend and I debate this too, and he also doesn't want to stop working. I mean, there's a part of me that likes the idea of not working, but you might be right. Maybe it's too hard. I don't know.
But like my boss, who's in her early 80s, she told me that she's taking graduate school courses.
Wow.
I had lunch with her recently, and she said she's taking graduate school courses, a history of the royal family, history of Europe, all these different courses. And I was like, wow, I mean, that is really amazing. I mean, that is where it's at in my mind, is to keep.
That is super awesome. Yeah, I think that too often, that I'd like to get another graduate degree, another master's degree at some point, and just study. So, wow.
Me too.
So, all right, yeah, so we're not going to retire. There are a lot of sexless marriages. There are a lot of
people are lonely.
People are really lonely. Community is essential for women.
It is.
In the second half of life, clearly.
Yeah.
How many best friends do you have, would you say?
Oh my God. Nina, 5, I'd say.
I think that's about true for me too. That's interesting. I've never asked that question before, but one of my children recently said to me, "Who's your best friend these days?" And I was like, I wouldn't, that's a younger person thing where you feel like you have one best friend.
Yeah.
Like, no, I probably have like a handful of people who I go to for different things. So we're lucky.
Yeah, we are lucky, because a lot of people would say they have no best friend to go to. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of people, I mean, even today I was looking through some posts on the Facebook page of, I think it was the Ethel, and they were talking about how their siblings had died and different things had happened. And once again, it's that message. I hate to be such a downer, but it was that message, like, who do I turn to? Who do I talk to? Like, it was, and I really struggle with trying to, I mean, I should direct them to Revel. I really struggle. And the AARP event, I really struggle because they're so desperate. I mean, people just are so eager to meet people and be connected. And
well, I mean, it makes me sad, but it also gives me heart that we're working in the right direction, because that is really what we're about, is helping people connect. And I think also for women our age, I'm sure you feel this way too, there's a constant desire, it's part of not wanting to stop working, there's a constant desire to pursue meaning and figure out what's valuable and learn new things, like your boss taking new classes. And so not that I'm trying to proselytize for Revel here, but that is the idea, right? Like, make new connections, learn new things, like live your own best life. And I think you're doing that too, by giving women a forum and a place to explore the ideas that we all struggle with and be honest about them, and then be able to talk about it. So it's amazing.
And the other thing is that, I don't know how old your kids are. How old are you?
Mine are 21, 23, 23, and 28.
Okay, so we have my 26 and 23 and 21. Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing, I mean, it's just, when the kids leave the nest,
yes,
it's either you handle it really well or it's really distressing. And I have to say, for me personally, I bawled like a baby every time my kids went off to college. Like
I did too at the beginning. Yeah.
And some women tell me, they write to me and say, my God, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, all 3 kids are gone, or all my kids are gone. It's wonderful. I'm free to do whatever I want. And then there's others like myself that are like, oh my God, where are the kids? I want to see the kids. Like, it's just, it's such a different, it's so weird how some women just, are so depressed or sob over it, like me. And then others that just revel in it.
Yeah.
And so happy that, okay, my kids, and I know that's the goal. You want your kids out of the house. I get it. But
yeah. And I think there's also a combination. Like, I was super sad when they first left. And then I loved the kind of the new normal where, you're watching them have lives in different cities and different places. And I do love the freedom. I have to say, I'm now regressing right this minute into a space of like, I'm worrying about them all the time in their newly adult lives. So I'm feeling the loss of control and kind of, I'm struggling with like, how do I love them and not try and be controlling and accept that I can't fix everything. That's kind of my new struggle, but I do like the empty nest, I have to say.
I have to say, so my two oldest ones, we don't pay anything for them anymore. They're completely free.
Nice.
And so it was funny because my oldest son, we went to a family wedding and my mother-in-law said, what can you do about your oldest son's hair? He needs to get his hair cut. I said, I have no sway over them anymore. When I don't pay for them. And so I'm out of their lives. It's like, it's so weird because it's like when you're not paying for anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a helpful point, Shelley. That's helpful for me because one of the things I'm struggling with right now is I want to get to that place of complete financial emancipation. Yeah. And I'm not there yet. I'm only really there with one of them and soon with two. But you're right that it complicates things. And I get accused of like using money in weird ways, which I probably do. But you do kind of feel like when you're still paying, you have a right to know what's going on. And
yes, I agree.
It's complicated. It really is complicated. And I do sometimes feel like I'll never, ever be free from worry. And that bums me out. Like,
No, you never will be. No, nobody is. No. I feel like I worried more about them now than I ever did when they were younger, for sure.
Oh, God, yeah. See, I do too. Oh, well. Are you excited for grandchildren?
Oh, God. No, I'm not even thinking that way.
Not even thinking that way. Look at you. Oh, I am. What, do you have girls or boys?
I have two boys and a girl.
Okay.
Yeah. And my girl is the youngest. And so my husband, I'm just going to tell you a little personal something here. So like, I was really close with my mother who died, but really super close. So we had two boys and my husband was like, that's it, we're done. No more, two boys, we're done. And I was like, please let me go for a third, please. I want to try one more for a daughter. And so I read every book about how to
conceive a girl. Oh my God, how cute.
I did. I read every book. I'm not kidding. We did everything that the book said to do, and we got the girl. And so my husband was like, I can't believe we did this. And I was like, yep, I told you, we're getting the girl.
That is a sweet, sweet story.
So you can actually kind of finagle that in a way, I think.
Amen. Well, that's really great.
But now my daughter and I, we it's so fun. What do you have? What girl? What do you have?
I have three girls and a boy. So my baby's a boy. And yeah, I asked about the girl boy thing because of course with girl children, you're more likely to reap the grandchild. I think there's that sense that boys disappear often into her family or you wouldn't have the grandchildren, but that's a whole other thing that I look forward to learning about from women in The Girlfriend and Revel and all these communities that we've created. Like I look to women, like there's a woman actually in the chat right now in the audience named Carrie, who's a longtime wolfer, and she has just had her first grandchild. And I look to that and it gives me it gives me hope. It makes me, it's helpful to see how other women are experiencing all these transitions. It really, really is. So
yeah. For sure.
All right. So remind us and the audience where they can find you everywhere.
So really, you can just go to thegirlfriend.com or the Ethel.com and you can find the websites for the different newsletters.
Sign up for all the newsletters. They're great. Yeah.
And then you can hit subscribe and you can subscribe and it's all free.
And then in those newsletters, there are stories about like you announce events and all the other things you do, right? And the Facebook group and all that.
Yep. And then if you do a search on Facebook of the Girlfriend Book Club, it'll come right up. Great. So, the Girlfriend Book Club, like I said, that's like my baby. It's what I'm most proud of. With 41,000 members, we're really like the engine, the little train. What is it called? Engine.
Yeah, you're going to rival Oprah soon.
No, we're not. But it is something that I created just on my own, and I love it. And all the women are. The thing about the book club is that somebody posted recently that they lost their father, for example, and hundreds of comments came in. Like I'm sympathizing with that person. Somebody else said that their husband just dumped them after 30 years of marriage, and all these comments. So it's more than a book club. It's like a supportive place where people can talk not only about books, but about their lives.
Yeah.
And, and somebody else was saying, I just became a step parent. Is there a book about this that I can read? And everybody was recommending books. And I'm like, wow, I mean, this is such a really close community, and I'm so pleased with it. So, the Girlfriend Book Club, please join if you have, if you can.
That's really wonderful. It's really great to hear. I think these communities are so important, and I couldn't relate more, having been a part of one myself these last few years, how much it's done for me and how much I see it doing for everyone else. So we're lucky to be in this space.
We are. I was going to say, I feel like it was kind of negative with all the different popular pieces about the girlfriend, the Ethel, about, no close friends. But the other thing is that they also want to know things about, they're also very big into fashion and beauty, and like, long hairstyles for older women, or how to, should I let my hair go gray, or comfortable shoes for older women in the summer. It's all that stuff too. It's not
bathing
just
suits, how to buy the right, what bathing suits are best for our bodies now.
Exactly right. That's
caftans. My current thing is I've become obsessed with this line. It's terrible. It's a woman named Susie Condi, Kondi, and she makes these like kind of glamorous velour-y, basically sweats, like junk, like tracksuits. And I'm obsessed with them. I wear them every day.
They're so great. That's great.
They're very comfortable. I love them. They're very I feel glamorous in them, but they're also basically like wearing pajamas.
Wait, what's the brand? What's the brand again?
It's called Susie. It's SUZIKONDI. She's great. I think she has a shop somewhere in Manhattan, and she's in Amagansett. I've been seeing her lately on Instagram, but I love her stuff, and I bought it for my daughters. Yeah, I love your list of the things people Google. Is a pretty amazing list. All right, well, this has been a great conversation. I love that we're in touch, and everyone, please do check out The Girlfriend, and Shelley has a website too, and you could check her out there, and we'll continue doing things together. Thank you so much.
I hope so. That's great.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.